Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, here with my mini-me as we record this. Wanted to do a quick little intro to thank Auto Fiber for sponsoring this episode. And this month, the month of July, the special towel is the wheel flip. So similar to the double flip that we've been talking about during the month of June, the wheel flip is a similar towel where it has multiple sides, but actually it's just meant to clean the rims, which actually I think is an area of the car that we don't think about using clean towels with, to be honest. I think it's an area that kind of gets overlooked, especially if you're dealing with chrome rims or powder-coated rims, especially black gloss powder-coated rims. Anyway, I think sometimes the attention to detail needs to be carried through the towels that we use for the rims. So if you want to check out this wheel flip towel, you can head over to autofiber.com. You could actually save 20% if you use the offer code WFLIP. W as in waffle, flip. So WFLIP at autofiber.com is going to save you 20% on that towel. And this week's episode is a kind of an interesting and a different one. We have Dan Smith from Vail, Colorado, as you will see, and he does a lot of detailing at vacation homes because he lives in a community that a resort community rather. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Different spin with Dan Smith. Great guy. Been interacting with Dan for a long time coming. So I was happy to get him on the show. He has the most killer mobile detailing van, I think, out of anyone. Hope you enjoy this one. Of course, DetailerInnerCircle.com, JimboDaily.com, all the goods. And I'm kind of, I've been hesitant to promote so heavily on the podcast, but then I started to realizing when you're passionate about something and you feel like you have something good to offer, it's not really selling, you're just informing people. So not that I want to make this a huge long intro to sell people, but I just feel between Auto Fiber and JimboDaily.com and the Detailer Inner Circle, there's so much to offer and so much of an offering that can really help detailers and prosumers and driveway detailers that I really need to get better at talking about it more. So I hope you guys will check out all those websites from your phone and enjoy all the offerings that we have from all over the place. So anyway, without further ado, here we go, episode 341 with my friend Dan Smith. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 341 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and I'm super excited to have a gentleman by the name of Dan Smith. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
He is from Vail, Colorado, and owns D&M Auto Detailing. And Dan, I didn't tell you, but I actually, after our interaction 2 weeks ago, maybe, I'm in the middle of redoing my garage, which for people watching the video, that's why it's such a mess. But as I was cleaning up my garage, you'll think this is fun. I have a handwritten note from you, Dan, from July 5th of 2016. So we're going on almost 2 years ago, where you sent me a Starbucks gift card then, and you just sent me another gift card. So I want to publicly thank you for sending me a very generous amount on a Starbucks gift card, and cheers, because I just used it right before our interview.
There you go. I know you love coffee, and it's my pleasure. Thanks for all your help.
I love it. So point being, we've been interacting for a long time. Did you come to the Detailer Marketing Boot Camp?
I did.
You did. That's right. And we had a great interaction there. We've been going at it for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for people that don't have as much information as I do, and maybe haven't followed your Facebook posts to see the insane views that you get from detailing some cars, and I think your van's one of the best too. Yeah. Can you give us a little bit of background about, who is Dan Smith and how'd you get into detailing?
Absolutely. So going back pretty far, I guess, born in Oakland, I grew up in Southern California. let's see. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I left Southern California in '93. I was skiing a ton, and I just took advice from one of the girls I was working with in a restaurant. And so I moved to Vail, Colorado, skied a ton, and I've been here ever since. Tried to move back to California a couple times, but just haven't been able to do it. 99, I worked, well, leading up to 99, I worked two jobs, went around the world. That was a lot of fun. And then when I came back, I started getting a little bit more serious, as much as my life is serious. But
You and me both, man.
yeah, but I knew I wanted to do something in the automotive world,
How
and
come?
I just fell right into detailing. I was bartending, and one of the guys that comes in every day owns a fly fishing shop, and he had like, oh, maybe four runners they would use for guide services, and they would just get beat up and dirty naturally. And so I started cleaning those,
Interesting.
and then it just kind of kept growing from there. And when you live in a resort town, you got a couple shoulder seasons where you're just sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
If you don't save up any money for it, then you struggle really hard.
Yeah, I call it
And
literally
so,
saving for a rainy day, right? Or I
yeah,
guess in your case, it would
exactly.
be a snowy day.
Yeah, and some people save up some money and they just leave town. Like they'll go to Thailand for a month and a half just because it's
Interesting.
cheaper to live there than it is here.
Right.
Stuff like that. So I just started getting into detailing on the shoulder seasons, and I didn't really think about it much. But I had a '76 Westphalia camper van,
Yeah. Yep.
and I was going to sell it,
Mm-hmm.
and I cleaned it, and I had it in a parking garage on my way to work. This guy saw the sign, and he goes, "Hey man, who detailed that car?" I go, "Nobody. I cleaned it." He goes, "I don't believe you. Somebody detailed that."
Hmm.
I'm like, and then I walked away from that thinking, wow, maybe
I am good at this.
maybe I'm yeah. So I got into it, and the rest is kind of similar to what everybody else is doing,
Sure.
And you start out and you do a friend's car, and then you do another friend's car, and eventually it just grows and grows and grows.
So what
But
year did you kind of start, or did you take it from the shoulder season to full time?
it was right around 2010,
Okay.
and that's when it really got serious. I mean,
So when you say
I'd
got
always been doing
serious,
what's that?
when you say you got serious, I think a lot of it's interesting how many people that write in that are in that kind of season where in fact I was just interacting with a gentleman today who's going like, man, I either got to make this a hobby and kind of write it off, or I got to turn this into a full-time gig. So what did you do to take it more serious? Because I think a lot of people are in that situation where they want to take it more serious, or at least they think they do, but they're not sure to practically do it. So
Well,
so what changed for you, to
the
practically do it?
change for me was working by myself. I
Mm,
mean, I grew up working in the restaurant business. I've done every single job in the restaurant business,
mm-hmm.
from dishwasher all the way to sommelier.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow. Okay.
and you can working in a restaurant, you can just get micromanaged to death
Right.
in certain places. And when I started detailing, it was just like a breath of
Freedom.
fresh air.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I just worked all day. When I first started, it was like, it wasn't very much,
Mm-hmm.
but it was about as much as I was working in a restaurant, and I worked by myself. Nobody was telling me what to do. Took a
Mm-hmm.
break when I wanted to. If I got out there and things weren't going right, it was like, you know what? I'm stopping what I'm going to do, and I'm going to start again tomorrow. Just stuff like that. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Did
And
you?
it,
Sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
no, 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 go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you? Because I worked at a restaurant for a few years before I started detailing as well, and I really enjoyed the being able to work during the day. Restaurant is a lot of nights. At least it was for me, like nights and weekends. And so
Yeah,
when I switched over to detailing, it was like weekday days, and it was like,
right.
wow, this is awesome.
It is, because when you work in a restaurant, you're working all the days that people typically have off
Mm-hmm.
and that are out enjoying themselves. So, I mean, it's different in each town, but it's like okay, 4th of July is coming up, you're working,
Right.
you know,
Right. Right.
Christmas is coming up, you're working,
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So, I mean, if you get out of that, then you're right. Then you're doing a little more 9 to 5. You're taking off some weekends if you can,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it gets a little more normalized than working in a restaurant. But the restaurant money is really, really good.
It is good, and it's also cash, which
It's
is
cash, man.
like
Not so
detailing.
much anymore. The
Mm.
IRS is really cracking down on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you still bartend at all, or do any restaurant work just for
Oh
fun?
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
work.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so in the winter, obviously,
That's where I was gonna go.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we didn't get much snow last season, but snow starts rolling, and I'm not like the guy that you interviewed in Utah. I mean, that guy's an animal. He's out there cleaning in the wintertime. God
Right.
bless him.
Sounds horrible
The
though, right?
weather hits 50. Well, the weather hits 50 for me, I'm done.
Well, your problem is that you were born in California, right?
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
you're a you're a Colorado transplant. So
Exactly.
yeah, 50 is might as well be 50 below.
Absolutely. The water's cold coming out of those spouts. Oh man, it's miserable.
Yep.
But
So do you shut down during winter?
I don't.
Okay.
And that's where some of that second homeowner business really comes in handy
Yeah, let's get
because these
let's get into
these
that.
people have great homes. They have like 3 or 4 or 5 car garages. You go in
Mm.
there and you work, and they come in, they show up, they want their car clean, they
Hmm.
leave it dirty, you come back and you clean it again. So you can work in the winter as long as you got a garage, that kind of a thing.
So how did that? Obviously, living in a resort town helps, but who's your typical clientele, and what does that look like in regards to the second home, the vacation home kind of standpoint?
Yeah, so I think what everybody has to do is look at their market and see where the money is.
Hmm.
I mean, in my market, we don't have any office buildings. I can't pull up to an office building and start pumping out details like that.
Right.
I mean, so my market it fluctuates. So in the winter season, it decreases, and then in the summer season, it increases, and it's always moving around. And people have second homes,
Mm.
and so they show up. They usually got a couple cars in them, and so I found that market, and a lot of it was just, you get out. I know a lot of people in town get out of work, have a beer, you're sitting next to a property manager. They're like, "Hey, man, you're detailing cars out here." I go, "Yeah, I got 4 cars up in this house, and the client's coming in 4 days, and I need them cleaned." So customer acquisition, as far as finding a property manager,
Hmm.
can be difficult, and it all depends on who you know. And living in this town for 25 years, I've know a lot of people,
Right.
so that made it easy for me.
Uh huh.
But like the cigar bar guy,
Right.
I can sit in a bar and have a beer,
Right.
and I'll have my D&M detailing shirt on,
Hmm.
and people will come up to me, and you just meet people, and they're
Right.
like, "Oh, yeah, you detail cars?" A lot of it you don't get because
Sure.
it's the classic.
How
Well, I've
much?
got my Subaru Outback, and I've got 2 dogs and a kid,
Oh gosh.
and I've got $150. Can you come over?
So how has your what is your what is your target demographic there then? Is it mainly the people with second homes, or obviously it's not the Subaru guy with 18 dogs and you can't even see the black the black seat
Yeah,
anymore because all the dog
the
hair.
one
But
that's the
yeah,
car that's going to clog your carpet extractor with
yeah,
so much dog hair it shuts down.
yeah. But what
Well,
is
I mean,
yeah?
one could pick and choose up here what they want to do. I mean, you could go after almost all those markets. I mean, the detailing market up here, from what I gather, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to reach out to a few detailers, and some of them are nice, some of them are a little standoffish.
Sure.
But you could jump into anywhere in the market. You could do Subarus all day long,
Mm-hmm.
and you could do pretty well in that market. But you know what? I'm a one-man shop. I love working by myself, and this particular market just really suits my needs. I mean, it's got a lot of pros.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can, the conditions are great. Usually pull up to an expensive home, and the people that own these homes are extremely nice.
Mm.
You can set your own schedule. You know, if somebody calls you with some type of detailing emergency, if there is such a thing, and say, "Oh, I need you to come over right away." You know, I mean,
There was a
there
detailing
was
emergency,
one.
right? Do
Exactly.
you want to talk about that and kind of how that got worked out?
Yeah, man, that was great. You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, do it. Might as well. Yeah.
Okay. So this guy is classic, and you know what? This guy is your classic prosumer too. I mean,
Mm.
this is the first time I've met him, and I've cleaned his cars maybe 5 or 6 times. So he gets a delivery of a brand new Ferrari, and
Mm.
he's already got a Lamborghini sitting in his garage. And so he goes, "Hey, man, I need you to come up and clean the car. My brother or buddy, we're going to go play golf, and he's taking the Lamborghini, and I want to take the Ferrari, but it's dirty from shipping." So I go, okay. Went up there, and I thought I was going to be there all day, and it just was just wash, wax, spray wax. But when I showed up, the guy had all Sonax products just sitting around. He
Mm.
goes, "What do you think about these?" I'm like, "Wow, these are great. Wish I could, use these on the car every day."
Right. Right.
I think you made a great choice. But I mean, the prosumer market, there's a ton of people out
A
there.
ton.
That,
Right.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But so it worked out well. I did clean their cars. The guy threw me some extra cash, and I was in and out of there in less than 2 hours. And but you can do that if a certain amount of your portfolio is the second homeowner business,
How,
because it's
yeah.
just really easy to schedule.
So, because I do love that idea because I'm like you. Um, I actually really do like working um, by myself.
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn my camera on my computer because I filled up another memory card somehow. I really do enjoy working by myself,
it's great.
and it's kind of a change of pace, and I actually find it pretty therapeutic as well. But how do you suggest? And then on top of that, being able to work whenever you want because no one's there, and no, it's like the
Right.
ultimate, right? Like you can work whenever
Yeah.
you want at your pace. No one's gonna bug
Hmm.
you, so
Mm-mm.
you don't get any of those people that are like, oh, how'd you finish so fast? But
Or or a lot of times for me, it's what are you still doing here? Why are you taking so
I wish I had that problem. For me, it's always like, wow, how did you get that done so fast?
Yeah.
But how would you, how would you suggest people get those type of clients? Is it hanging out at the bar wearing a detailing shirt? How do you get? Obviously, the big thing is you got to live in somewhat of a resort town, but I think a lot of people do
Yeah.
live in a town that is desirable. Not a lot, but
Yeah, I think it's going to be more in some towns than others,
mhm.
you know. But I mean, you're basically going to deal with a property manager. I
Okay,
mean, that's the person that controls the whole thing.
okay,
So the property manager deals with the house owner. So
mm.
the house owner is going to say, "Hey, man, I need my cars cleaned before I show up in a month." So the property manager either has a guy, or they're gonna search somebody out.
Okay.
So, I mean, my truck itself is a great advertising deal.
Talk
I
about your
mean,
truck because I think it's unique.
yeah, I mean, it's the only one in town, and everybody knows it.
Mm.
I'll be filling up for gas, and people will talk to me, and it's just really easy. So a lot of times, like, I'll be at the post office, and somebody will come up and they're like, "Hey, man, I've been trying to chase you down for 2 or 3 days. I see you
Oh wow.
drive by. I'm a property manager, and I need you to clean some cars." So that works that way. But I mean, these guys might be difficult to find. I'm not sure if you're going to find them on the internet? I mean, what would you search? Would you just search like a property manager?
I mean,
I mean, I
I
don't
guess you
know.
could, but I think the hard part with that is it's really you got to break the ice and
Yeah,
build the relationship, So
right.
I think that's what becomes the difficult part is you gotta get through the gatekeeper first,
Right.
and so I that's why I like ideas like hanging out at the bar, even though some people
Yeah.
may
I
not
mean,
be into that, or the cigar
you can only
bar,
do so much
because you're yeah, right, but you're yeah.
before your liver falls out. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah. So
But I mean, I guess it could be like if you're going to go to an office building and you find the gatekeeper there and you detail that person's car
right,
for free.
right.
You can approach it the same way.
Hmm.
You go, oh, hey, there, you're driving along and maybe you're at lunch and you look across the street and there's a property management company. So
Right,
you go over there and you go, here's my card, blah, 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 blah. Let me clean your car. I mean, you could do the same thing.
right.
Then
Yes.
you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yeah. And, I mean, you get to pick your own schedule. I mean, you got to deal with the property manager. A lot of those guys are really nice. They're really easy to deal with too. They're
Mm.
like, and especially once you do a car and the client's really happy,
Hmm.
oh man, you're the hero. And Dan, thank you very much. And they come out smelling like a rose, and
Mm.
it's great. It's very satisfying that way too.
Right.
Yeah, but
And
there's some cons to it too. So
so
I
let's hear
mean,
those. Yeah. What are the cons?
so the obviously the client acquisition is a little bit more difficult.
Hmm.
You know, how do you find these people? Where do you get in? I mean, you're just not gonna. They're just not easy to find. Um,
How did you break
Especially
through?
some
Was
towns
it?
where you don't
How,
even know.
yeah. How did you break through?
It was just, I mean, it's such a small town that I live in,
Got it.
and it's just, like I know a couple guys that do a lot of irrigation,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And so the property manager will call the irrigation guy, and then I got one that came across that way, and the irrigation guy's, oh yeah, you got to call Dan if you need a car detailed. Then he has like 5 or 6 houses that he does. So
Wow.
each
Okay.
house has 2 cars, and you never know what you're going to find in these houses. It's bizarre. Sometimes you find a Porsche. I went in there and some guy's got like a 78 Jeep Grand Cherokee, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure where I was going with that, but
How just how you
but
landed
yeah,
the first couple
but
ones.
another tough part about this market too is the pay. The pay is slow.
Okay. Because people
So,
are doing other stuff and it's their kind of second home. They're not thinking about it.
well, it's different. So, like some property managers will say to you, you'll say, "Hey, can I get a check?" And they'll go, "Absolutely. I'll meet you over at Ace Hardware and meet me in the parking lot. I'll write you a check, bring an invoice, blah, bada bing, you're done."
Hmm.
Others are, send me an invoice. I'm going to give it to the property owner, and then they're going to send you a check. So at that point, you got to wait for it in the mail. Like, so for example, right now I've done like 6 or 7 jobs,
Hmm.
and for 2 or 3 weeks, I've been waiting for checks, and I've only gotten checks from a couple people. But I mean, if you're mixing it in with your regular clientele, it's not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
But the pay is slow. That is
So
one of the downfalls.
you're dealing directly with, or you're only dealing with property managers. Then you're not dealing directly with the homeowners, because
Sometimes you deal with a homeowner
okay,
if they happen to be there when you're cleaning,
gotcha.
or you get something where, you know, hey, we parked our car out next to someplace and now it's got dust all over it. I know you just cleaned it a couple days, so can you come over and wash it? Then you meet them.
Hmm.
And, but mostly you're dealing with property managers.
Got it. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking, if you could deal directly, or maybe even with the property managers, they must be taking a little bit of a cut or something then. But I was thinking,
I've thought that.
y-
I've thought that because I've had a couple property managers where they're not really clear. Like I'll pull up and I'll I'll look at somebody's black Suburban. I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Right.
What does this thing need to look like? And they're really vague. I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to be price wise? Oh, well, make it this amount. And it's always like something, if it seems a little shady, it's always like a little low. It's like, you're going to go clean a Suburban
Right.
and the guy only wants to give you $175. You kind of think, well, geez, I'm going to clean this thing. Is he going to tack on
Right.
another 50? And that's possible.
And actually,
And
I think that would be a good sales point, a
yeah,
good sales argument to try to break through that ice with the property managers and say, hey, look, here's just another added revenue stream. For
yeah,
you guys, if tack on another $50, you don't have to do anything other than make the connection or make the introduction.
yeah,
And I think people underestimate too the value of having connections, right?
right.
So
Oh,
they have
totally.
the connection that you need to the
Right.
homeowner.
Yeah,
You can get paid on it. They can make a little bit of money. It's a win-win-win for everyone. The homeowners got their car cleaned. They obviously have extra cash, which I'm not about gouging
yeah.
people either, but still,
No,
you're
and
offering a
you
service
really
to
got to
them.
prod them sometimes. It's like, hey, are you tacking some money on?
Hmm.
I don't care. Just
Just let
tell
me
me
know. Yeah,
just tell me where you want to be. I want you to look good. Now I want the customer to be happy.
exactly.
And usually after they get to know you, they come around.
Right, right.
And and but and then another downfall too, or I can't figure out whether it's a downfall or it's a plus, but you get caught doing a lot of extra stuff. So like
Mm,
I went over to this guy's house and the property manager wasn't there and I was just going to pick up a check.
mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, I'm moving 4 levels of patio furniture. Just the property manager is in Paris. And the guy's like, hey man, can you help me out? I need some patio furniture moved. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. I thought it was just gonna be a couple pieces. It was 4 different like 10-piece sets. The guy ended up giving me some money.
Sure.
But you do a lot of stuff like that.
You know what? I do too. Even with, I realize that sometimes when you deal with higher clientele, that sometimes they just need people around to help them with stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And some people are opposed to doing that. Like I made a post a while back now, but it was that I legitimately thought I was going to this guy's house to do some cars, and I ended up
Yeah.
painting a fence.
Oh, I saw that. I remember that. I
And
was laughing when I saw that because that's me all the way.
and it's like
Yeah.
I remember.
Today I've got to, after I'm done with this, I have to go put a license plate on the lady's car because she got a brand new car, blah, 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 and she needs some help putting the license plates on. So I have to go over there and help her out with that. But I've done some business consultation with Prentice St. Clair,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and you know him, right?
Yeah, from the IDA.
Great guy.
Hmm.
If anybody's starting out and they're looking for some advice, this guy's great. $75 an hour. Spend 2 hours on the phone with him. He helps you iron out all the problems. And his positive coming out of that was, hey, look, embrace it, use it. You can start, taking the car to get the tires changed, and
Heck
getting
yeah.
the oil changed, and the windshield wipers, and,
100%.
and then all of a sudden you're helping these people out, and then you're charging them for all that stuff too.
100%. Couldn't agree
Yeah,
more. And that's what I was going to say is some people kind of gave me crap for doing it, and how they'd be pissed if the client did that to them, and blah blah blah. And I kind of looked at it the opposite way of like, how entrenched I am with this guy now? Like,
yeah,
and I got paid just as much as if I were going to detail his cars, maybe
yeah,
even a little
absolutely.
more.
They'll even ask you. They'll go, well, what do you want me? What do you're gonna go get my tires changed. What do I owe you?
Right.
I'm like,
And
I
then,
don't know. Give me a couple $100. Oh, okay.
and then you put yourself in the property management shoes where you can make a couple extra bucks,
Yeah,
and
then
it all works out.
and you know what? If you're doing that stuff for those people, they're not getting rid of you.
Mm-mm.
If they
100%.
happen to run into another detailer, they're gonna go, oh no,
No way. I got the guy.
I've got Dan. He helps me out all the time.
Yep.
Got a relationship going.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. What else would you like to add, Dan? Anything else?
No, man, that's about it.
Did we hit it pretty good? How can
Yeah, we do.
you talked about, trying to meet up with other detailers or talk with other detailers. I'm sure there's plenty of other detailers in your area too, but if people have more questions about, maybe they do live in a resort town and they want to kind of pick your brain a little bit further about how to do that. How can people follow you or get a hold of you, or maybe even have their cars detailed at their second home by you?
Absolutely. So I'm on Facebook, D&M Auto Detailing, Instagram, Twitter, and then, if you want to call me directly, I've been getting a lot of random calls from people that are trying to sell me stuff. So I may not always pick up just
Sure.
because I got caught on a 45-minute a call from somebody, but I don't know what the hell it was, but it was horrible. But my number is 970-376-2964. More than happy to help anybody out.
Awesome, Dan. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. I know it took us a couple weeks to kind of make this happen, but I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, coming to the detailer marketing boot camp, the detailer inner circle, the Starbucks gift card. This is just a little token of appreciation back to you to say thanks.
Yeah, all those things that you do are great.
And I appreciate it.
Detailing, inner circle, all that stuff is fantastic.
I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to that episode 341 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. For more content, head on over to my YouTube channel. Just go to autodetailingpodcast.com/YouTube. That'll take you over there. Of course, JimboDaily.com and the Detailer Inner Circle. If you're trying to elevate, I've had a handful of conversations this week in particular with people that are interested in joining the inner circle. And if you are, I don't mind having a conversation via phone with you or text or whatever about the Detailer Inner Circle. But the more people I tell about it, the more people know about it, the more people join. They're really, really seriously taking their detailing business to the next level. And as I've talked about taking my business to the next level in different ways, a way that people can elevate their detailing business is definitely by getting around other people that are trying to do the same thing as them. And that's what we have cultivated in the Detailer Inner Circle, is other detailers taking their business to the next level, as well as training modules, Facebook ads, Google ads. We have the whole Detailer Marketing Bootcamp. It's actually free if you watch the webinar at detailerinnercircle.com. So hope you'll check that out at least. If you have any questions, of course, reach out, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for listening. See ya.